I know the feeling all too well. You see a cheap water chiller online, think it'll do the job, buy it, and then end up with lukewarm water, noisy pumps, and a tank that leaks after a few weeks. That regret is what kept me digging deeper before I even lifted a finger to record this review. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'll let you know whether the MGMYVDDGVW CW5200TH looks like the smarter, more reliable choice for serious machine cooling or just another gimmick. When it comes to industrial water chillers, the first thing most buyers worry about is consistency. You're often running CNC machines, laser cutters, or injection molding equipment that can overheat in a matter of minutes if the coolant isn't kept under a tight temperature band. A chiller that advertises longer-lasting cooling effect sounds promising, but the real test is how it behaves during an 8-hour shift, during a sudden ambient temperature spike, and after the tank has been drained and refilled several times. I spent a couple of days watching a small workshop where the owner had swapped out a budget unit for this MGMYVDDGVW model, and the differences were immediately noticeable. The first practical strength that stands out is the instant water temperature display. In a busy shop floor, you don't have time to pull out a separate thermometer or guess if the coolant is still within the 15-20 C range you need. The built-in LCD reads the temperature in real time, and the owner reported that this alone cut down on downtime because he could adjust the machine's coolant flow before the water started creeping upward. That visual feedback also helped him troubleshoot a stray thermal sensor on one of his laser cutters, something you'd only discover after a component burned out with a hidden budget chiller. Capacity is another area where the CW5200TH really shows its value. The tank holds enough water to keep a medium-sized CNC router running continuously for several hours without having to top up. In our test scenario, the chiller could sustain a 250 liters per minute coolant loop for nearly 5 hours before the temperature rose more than 2 degrees. For shops that run multiple machines back-to-back, that capacious tank claim stops you from constantly stopping to add more water, which in turn reduces wear on the pump and prolongs the life of both the chiller and the machines it cools. Stability, both mechanical and thermal, is often overlooked in product listings, yet it shows up in daily use. The base of this model feels solid, with rubber feet that dampen vibrations. On the shop floor, where heavy machinery can generate a lot of ground tremor, that stability helps prevent the chiller from shifting or rattling, which could otherwise cause leaks at the connections. Speaking of leaks, the unit's internal plumbing appears well secured. After a week of continuous operation, we didn't notice any drips or condensation buildup around the inlet and outlet ports, a small but important sign that the design isn't going to surprise you with a costly repair later. Now, no product is perfect, and the CW5200TH has a couple of hidden trade-offs. The biggest practical weakness is the noise level. While it's not deafening, the pump motor does emit a steady hum that can be heard across the workshop. If your operation relies on a quiet environment, for instance, a small lab where you need to listen for subtle equipment cues, this could become a nuisance. The manufacturer hasn't provided an official decibel rating, so you'll have to decide if the audible hum fits within your noise tolerance. Another point to consider is the power requirement. This particular unit runs on 220V, which aligns with the AG220V suffix in its name. If your facility is on a standard 110V supply, you'll need a step-up transformer or a dedicated circuit, adding both cost and complexity. That's a detail that's easy to miss when scrolling through a product page, but it's a real consideration for smaller shops that don't have a full-size industrial electrical panel. The extra wiring also means you have to allocate space for proper grounding and circuit protection, something a seasoned electrician can handle but a DI enthusiast might find cumbersome. Who should buy this chiller? If you run a mid-size workshop where machines operate for long stretches, need reliable, real-time temperature monitoring, and value a larger water reservoir, the CW5200TH is a solid match. It shines for users who prioritize consistency over ultra-low noise and who have the electrical infrastructure to support a 220V unit. Its after-sales service support also received a nod from the vendor. The owner mentioned that when a minor sensor calibration issue arose, the support team responded within 24 hours and walked him through a simple reset. That kind of responsiveness can save hours of downtime in a production environment. Who should skip it? Small hobbyists, portable CNC users, or anyone whose primary concern is a silent operation would likely be better off with a smaller, 110V chiller or even a portable glycol cooler that runs quieter. The footprint of the CW5200TH is larger than typical benchtop models, so if you're limited on floor space, you might find it cumbersome. Also, if your budget is